Okay, so first stream of the new year, I guess, because also pretty much first stream for this week, you know. I was a little busy yesterday doing a whole lot of wiki editing for the sake of clarifying stacking some of the effects. So not that I think that this will be too terribly relevant, but just so the version I have, because I haven't read all these changes since. But anyway, one of them was extra attacks, just talking about stacking them, namely how in honor mode you can't stack hastened or elixir of bloodlust or the warlock's pact, which I guess is here rather to highlight it. And that was simple enough, and also really useful for me to just go through and actually like really get a grasp on the mechanics of it, because things like war magic, I kind of expected it to work, but as is pointed out, it's technically a bonus action, so extra attack doesn't apply to it. So that's a good one to know. Also, I'm on honor mode anyway, so like I can still get the extra attacks from these things. They're just not nearly as effective as getting, or sorry, the extra action for a single attack, but I can't get the extra attacks on top of them. So with the example made, that otherwise you could get a fuck ton of attacks in one turn. And then additionally, somewhat relevant to the conversations on creature size, which I guess I can also probably specify here. Throwing all these things in and how they function together. So what did I get a ping for? Alright. Anyway, yeah, so talking about all the different things you can do to affect size, both by changing effectively your base size and then applying additional modifiers on top of them. So as was pointed out by somebody, these effects also actually have a internal name that is identical. So you can only have one of these things applied at once, which is great, because that was pretty much half of the discussion here, me trying to figure it out, and apparently it's already internally defined, which is logical, but not something I had bothered checking, because I don't really poke around in the backward, or in the background files, generally. So the end result is still basically the same. You can be +2 sizes from whatever your form is, meaning that you could be a gargantuan cattle for a grand total of 1 turn if you piss off Dolly thrice, but this is potentially going to be useful for the sake of me monkeying about with a druid in the future, because I don't think this is gonna... There we go. Because this guy has this thing, which is also magnified by their mass. So people use it to just fucking one-hit KO Grim in his little forge area by jumping from up here as a Gargantuan Owlbear. And I don't know that I'm necessarily going to be interested in trying or playing the entire game like that, but I definitely want to mess around with just absolutely murdering things by pouncing on them, at least to some degree. So this is pretty much all the information that applies to it. You just get an enlarged of one form or another, although all of them only last up to a maximum of 10 turns. And you can lose concentration via the enlarge or reduce spell. And then Elixir of the Colossus. So that's pretty straightforward. And then I also made the mistake of doing another entire chart. This one I did before the other one, but is still directly relevant, which is the carrying capacity of a character, because a lot of the effects are the same for changing size as they do for mass. Mass is part of changing size, and then carrying capacity is relative to your strength, and then sort of changed by size, but not directly. It's just that anything that changes size generally also has the additional effect of modifying carrying weight. So, for instance, some things, namely form change, isn't going to modify your carrying capacity. But, again, there's a lot of crossover. So, Elixir of the Colossus, again, kind of the MVP, because it's a until long rest, and it's the probably easiest to obtain until you get to the Mighty Cloth in Act 2. But, again, for stacking things, only one of these effects will be active at a time, and it will be the highest granting effect. So, human versatility, humans can just straight up start off with a times 1.25 mass, times 1.25 carrying capacity, and then they are basically immune to having the reductions, since you can only increase further, and these things don't stack together. So, who knows? I'm sure there's a mod out there that lets you stack things, because there's nothing really stopping you from going and modifying these stack IDs, to my knowledge, and having these all be separate effects, and then using them all together, I suppose. But that's at least not a thing in vanilla, and I haven't searched for a mod for it, so I don't know whether or not that's the case. But yeah, as a result, looking to apply all that information now to the campaign on top of all the other build theory crafting I've done. Namely because while I like the premise of Karlach, who has the racial ability to gain additional spite spells, being a paladin, at least the current paladin does a pretty bad job of not having this be broken. Because even just trying to pickpocket a bad person is still considered an immoral action, even if you immediately fail for some reason. So that makes that hard. So I don't know if I'm going to keep them. And then with my whole usual shtick of having one character and having stats in each of the dump stats, I'm going to have to mess around with it some more. With the party comp, Gale doesn't exist in the other honor mode campaign, but Astarion is like a really good arcane trickster, and I keep kind of shoving that role onto them, even though they can definitely do other roles. But, you know, to play around with the actual party comp requires me to do something other than this for int in order for me to have other choices here. So currently I'm running the wizard and ranger and paladin. Also of note, something I thought was interesting, Wiki's wrong about it, of course, but Halsin is a druid by default, and so even if you respec him, you keep some of these abilities. Now this is incorrect. It's actually Wild Shape Cave Bear, which is a unique one to him, and hasn't been updated on the wiki at all. So I guess we can do that right now. So it's unique to Halcyon. So this is a lie. But it's a variant that has multi-attack, which seems pretty great. And my understanding is that even if you respec him to something else, he'll still have these abilities. So for instance, in my main campaign, he still has Call Lightning, despite being a Gloom, or only a level 5 Gloomstalker Ranger, so they don't have it unlocked normally. But he still has it available because it's a level 3 spell slot, and it's just considered like an innate spell that he knows. Which I thought would have been specified down here, because technically it's not a temporary companion ability, it's a permanent companion ability. And yeah, Cave Bear also isn't here, but whatever. I guess it specifies here. But because you only need a wild shape charge, and thus to my knowledge this isn't level restricted, you can actually run a bear Beastmaster Ranger build and also turn into a bear. And the reason why that is kind of important, not really, just mostly from a aesthetic perspective, is that once you hit level 11 with Ranger, your companions get additional abilities, which for the bear includes summoning an additional level 7 bear. So you can become a level 11 Beastmaster Ranger, summon a bear, it can summon an additional bear, but then you can't normally turn into a bear because even the bear shape is only available specifically for level 2 druids, and you can only hit level 12. But Halcyon, in theory, should be able to, as long as you have at least 1 level in druid, so that you have a wild shape charge. And I suppose the easiest way to prove that either way is just going to be loading up the other save. Which technically means this stream isn't exactly on topic, but whatever. I want to actually get some headway done, some game today. So even though I'm currently talking about something else, going to continue with that a little bit. Methinks, I don't know. Again, theoretically, I could, should, would, will max out the main campaign I have in Act 3. But I haven't really felt like I wanted to do more mucking around in the city, as it were. But those early mid-game levels are great for messing around with new builds, of which I have a plethora. Including a entire group of ideas, which I'll need to condense and edit at some point. I don't know, I might even end up breaking these up into their own tabs for like different classes or something, I'm not sure. Because that's what I did for Crossout, I changed one build. I changed it so that each sheet was for one co-driver with a specific set of bonuses, which is important because they modify stats that no other co-drivers, no other systems in the game modify sometimes. So having it just like as part of the page rather than, oh, if you're using this co-driver modifies these stats, if you're using this co-driver modify these stats, makes it a lot easier. So for instance, we can play as Halcyon, and he does not have his Cave Bear ability available, but it doesn't specify needing level 2 for it. So in theory, oh, and I guess I lied too about him having Call Lightning available because he's a half caster as a ranger and a non-caster as a rogue. So he doesn't have, well, specifically a thief rogue. So he doesn't have a level 3 spell slot in order to cast Call Lightning, but he could, which I've done in other instances. So to demonstrate what I'm talking about, which mine I'm going to be 1 level off anyway because I'm max level 11 right now, not at the level cap. But in theory we can kind of show part of what I'm talking about. Unless I'm misremembering and you need to be level 2 to have a wild shape charge, in which case that entire deity goes out the window. Ooh, that definitely seems to be the case. Rough. Okay, so willing to buy level 13 cap for Halcyon specifically. Unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to rethink that. But it was almost a great idea. Plus you can get... There is a... Oh, it doesn't like that, huh? There is a hat that increases the wild charge, but I suspect this is only if you already have one. I don't think... It would be kind of crazy if it did apply if you didn't already have wild shape. Because then that could work. Mind, I'd only be a bear once per long rest. And it only has 36 health even with the cave bear version, but... Alright, let's do a super quick edit of this. No, spell slots isn't even a linked thing, is it? Oh, it totally is. Alright. Spell slots. And then the cracked cave bear, which I could also theoretically edit if it's not smatified. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, uh-oh. Somebody put a note here, but I'm not seeing the note there. So why don't we just remove that, bro? What is this? Why is this weird? Somebody messed up. This template. Is this all part of action page? Yeah, damn, okay. So let's see. Template. Not me turning this stream into me editing the wiki. Let's see, notes. There you go. It's pluralized, baby. Which probably means that somebody updated the template and then didn't propagate the changes to all pages that already had it. So we can turn... I wonder if, let's see. This is going to be potentially a terrible idea. Let's find out. Maybe we can just note list it and then see if this works the way I'm hoping it will. Bam. I feel like how I'm doing this is almost wrong. But you know what? I think we'll just send her as is with its own note section. This makes my life a lot easier. Technically, this isn't fully correct either, but I'll specify. There you go, my pro. Kind of. I really am not sure if having it in the notes is better. But, yeah, see, it puts it as a sub-bullet there, which doesn't quite work. So, we'll just throw it back out there. And then inevitably anger some people looking at the style manual and editing guide because you're in the wrong area. But this is kind of a unique situation. Oopsie. But at least the information is now here and accessible. Although I really wish it wouldn't have these weird gap after. There we go. You can also rewrite that. So probably follow the style guide and have it after. Does the description specify cave there? That'd be even weirder that it says go. Oh, it's totally correct now. Okay. Well, that makes that easier. Yeah. That's a multi-attack. Oh, I hate how that's a unique version. I guess that makes sense. I'll just copy. There you go. It shows the value of not double checking the game update. Teehee. I feel like we're also gonna have to edit that block. You don't have perms. I don't even know, is it technically still a spell too? I hate, it's a class action, there we go. Good design, maybe that applies, doubt. The bear thing, which we can't edit, the action page isn't relevant now. No, I could theoretically say. What's up with this? That's a very specific template. Back to the action page. Excellent. Ooh, dynamic. How exciting. Is there a unique to race? Is there a character like that? Nope. Is there a way to say it's a class action? Nope. Not that way. Yeah, just has to have it at class. Let's see. Ooh. That could work. Kind of. Because it feels weird to specify that Druid's learn it at level 2, and technically it's just Halsin who learns it but can't cast it until level 2. So let's try that. Weird that I have to pluralize that, but whatever. See if it likes that. Ooh, it does not. Doesn't like that at all. Unless it is smart enough to auto-link Halsin. Nice. Oh, it does not like notes at all. Gotti. So it's taking in the creature's parameter and it's automatically adding the double brackets to it, which is kind of funny but makes sense. And it considers it pluralized. So we'll just get rid of that comma, which could theoretically work. And we'll have it as a note, and then hopefully it plays nice. It does not like that. So I'll need to figure out the escape character. And then we can probably add it as a notes because it's directly underneath Not that I think that'll necessarily fix everything, but it should help. And then at least look at area, that's fine. And can you get rid of the noteless? That cry because I messed this up. No, notes is still correct. That still seems too separated. Rather than have it as a sub below, which is unfortunate. Where art thou, escape characters? Well, somebody already fixed it specific to creature size. I'll say corrected. That. And we can open up the creature size chart again. And then Slayer. Oh no, they totally didn't add blur there. So I'm gonna need escape characters. But I don't know what those are. That's not good. There's something about exiting formatting. Well, this isn't a exhaustive one. Where is your tutorial page? There we go. And then we're looking for escape characters, baby. Come on. That's interesting. Wasn't aware of that. Good thing I never used them all. That almost works. Come back to that. That might be best to get. Oh, I wasn't even aware that they have that. That's fun. Okay, we'll say Halson, and then add it as a note. voila, we're pros. Unless has. Yeah, unless he has a wild shape charge. Which you get at level 2. Okay. That'll work, I think. Because I really didn't like adding some bullets there. I'm not going to mess around with editing a template, mostly because I can't, but also because I really don't want to for a change this basic. Let's see. Verified ability. Let's just say availability. It should work. Boom, bam, we're pros. And then we just navigate away from here and wait for me to inevitably get pinged about something. Very good. Great, okay, so that still tosses my whole idea in the trash, which is to have a bear army. So, is it worth picking up the level extension until multi-class limit mod? Probably not, but I'm telling you, the moment we get a I don't know why the formatting on that's so angy. As soon as we get way to hit level 13, baby. This build's happening. Which also means in the meantime it's basically not happening. But, whatever. Good to know I don't need to worry about building him that way now. Even though, again, he's actually quite good for it. Which is a shame. Well, so anyway, so for the actual CFO, which we're doing things in theory today, the point of the stream, even though it's been 40 minutes, I've just been talking about theory crafting. And I don't know, maybe I'll even just go back to the other save file anyway to see if I can get the extra transformation with the shapeshifter's hat. Shapeshifter hat, not possessive. Wiki does not like when you add your own idea of naming. Likewise, I've typed in like Balderon Giant Space Layer a couple times. It's gotten angry at me. But luckily, like Gaunter Mail, or however you pronounce it, and Faller Aluve, however you pronounce it, are nice in that they don't have any special characters, which make it more complex, because that is a pretty big annoyance with some other wikis, where they have to have redirects for people typing without those special characters, because it won't automatically recognize that it's the same entry. Fun times ahoy. I had somebody pop in 1 minute ago in the stream, and then they popped out. I can't say I blame them, since again I wasn't actually, playing the game at that stage. But we're working on it, I swear. Just need to spend another 3 hours figuring out what party comp I want. 100% my ass. If it was 100%, I wouldn't still be in a loading screen, bro. See, because fighter can obviously handle these strength requirement pretty well, since he whack, baby. he whack. And then can also get those bonus whacks as a war cleric. Potentially, where do I put that build? There you go. Can do war cleric, or you know, just have him have great weapon master, which effectively does the same as long as I kill somebody, which is ideal anyway, considering how we're going to be reliant on Bloodlust. But is the question, like, how many sources of bonus actions do you want to have? Because in theory, you could also have Polearm Master, and then that way you can always have a bonus attack for at least 1d4 plus strength. And then you could also have a War Cleric so that you could expend a charge for a full damage attack. And you could also have Great Weapon Master and Bloodlust for if you get a kill. Well, I suppose you don't really need both, do you? Well, no, Bloodlust is a regular action. Great Weapon Master is a... Sorry, this is a free action. A free attack for honor mode difficulty. And that's a bonus attack. So then it's a question of, do I want Polearm Master to have an additional attack if I don't proc the kill so that I could then get Bloodlust, which seems a little unneeded. Or I could have War Cleric, which does the same thing, but is obviously more of an investment. Well, not the same thing, it does more damage. Oh, decisions, and I totally said we were going to spend this entire time looking at the wiki. Evidently I lied. So, for our options for whacking, by default we know if we're going to do a lot of two-handed whacking, for sure, we want to be a level 11 Battle Master, because the space Battle Master is going to have as a level 11 fighter their improved extra attack, so 2 free attacks, and then as a Battle Master they can also spend the superiority die to further increase the damage of any attack. And then my additional options, because I have 1 level remaining, potentially, is I could War Priest, and then that lets you do a weapon attack as a bonus action. Although, admittedly, I'm not sure how well it synergizes, especially in regards to the extra attacks. Because in theory I'd have to do the extra attacks, and then due to how extra attack works, based off that, you know, prior editing, you can't use a bonus action to trigger it, so you'd only get a single extra attack. But that being said, with the War Domain War Priest charge, you would get the full damage of the attack, whereas with Polearm Master, it would be restricted to 1d4 plus strength, and then people are saying that does not add damage from other sources, which I don't know how much of an issue that'd be. Probably not a whole lot, theoretically, for like me using the Everburn Blade, but then again, also probably not going to stick with the Everburn Blade indefinitely, and it's not a polearm. But do I want to limit myself to a polearm? I believe tridents also apply here. Oh, I hate how it doesn't go to glaives, the category, because it's not specifically the glaive. But whatever, I'm not gonna start getting into that. So like, these aren't really great. Wow, that's not buggy at all. Alright. I'm not gonna jump down the rabbit hole. I want to actually play the game tonight, not just edit the wiki. And they don't even have like a template for like edit me, fix me, I'm broken, please help. It's just like C notes, no notes. Okay. Funny. Yeah, so this is fairly frequent. I don't know what the fuck that matters for, but that's fairly frequent when it says it'll add to damage or attack, but it'll actually add to both. So that doesn't surprise me. But like, Glaive doesn't feel very wacky. We don't even get the full 2d6 damage. And then Halberd is likewise a 1d10. So we probably won't want to use Halberds either. So I guess that kind of answers the question. We don't really want to run Polearm Master, because we're not running Polearm Master. Our options remain. But like, we do have this. And like, that's interesting. I don't know how that would theoretically apply. Oh, shit, I think they're saying that you can do it with any weapon. So in theory you could get the Great Weapon Master feat with somebody running like dual crossbows, I guess. That's very peculiar. That means that if you're making a like bonus attack spamming like double crossbow person, that you could have that apply there too. That's interesting. I think I had a build listed based off of Shovels, or one of Shovels' Warcry. So I have one for no spell sheets, and then I have one for Fisting Time. So in theory, Great Weapon Master would allow for a bonus attack. So on top of being able to have the bonus action for being a level 3 thief, and potentially the bonus action for being an open hand monk, and potentially the bonus action from Helmet of Grit or Power Quickness Hat. Although I need to move this over. Whoopsie. So what happens when you add cells? Add columns and you already have cells. This is sort of me just hacking and slapping multiple sheets together. Theoretically, this should probably be in its own section. But in any case, the 1, 2, 3 bonus actions, then you can also get another bonus action that way. And then Duelist Prerogative could give you another reaction. And in theory, again, if you go higher than level 12, you could also get a War Cleric for additional bonus action attacks for full damage, but it seems a little redundant at this stage, and arguably even this is a bit much. So, yeah, isn't that fun? Okay, great. So, why did I bring this up? So, Great Weapon. I mean, it synergizes with Bloodlust. Maybe just better to be a full 12. I really need to reorganize this. That, and then we can also say Great Weapon Fighting Style, which will apply. And then, yeah, like, definitely have that, definitely have that. And then theoretically, we don't need the War Cleric if we can consistently proc this. Is 3 attacks enough to guarantee a kill every turn? Probably not, especially at the higher difficulties, but I think I'll have to fuck around and find out. I should, by the time I'm a level 11 Battle Master, I think I should probably have a pretty good handle on whether or not I need an additional source of damage in order to proc Bloodlust. But in theory, using a War Cleric charge to get Bloodlust, so 2 extra attacks for the cost of a bonus action, and 1 War Cleric charge, which admittedly is the bigger limiter since you only get 3 of those per long rest, would be pretty worth the trade-off, as opposed to just having an additional feat. But I have to see. Have to FAFO, as it were. to figure out the rest of these characters' synergies as well. But I think for the sake of this basically just being a spreadsheeting stream, I'm just going to end the stream here and label it as a spreadsheeting build thing. And then do another actual gameplay stream. Because I said at some point I'd get around actually playing the game today.